Howdy, partners. It is the weekly YouTube show that looks at the league through a Lone Star lens with your favorite two Texans on the ESPN NBA reporting staff, Michael Country Wright and me, Bam McMahon. And Mike, whew, we got a lot to discuss this week, my friend.
Been a week, brother. Been a week. I'm tired. I mean,
You're tired.
it's just gone. Oh yeah, you probably got it worse than me for sure.
Listen,
Man,
hey, the Rockets are rolling. The Spurs are off to an even better start. We gotta start out with this mess that is the Mavericks and the very beginning of the cleanup process. You don't have to chant fire Nico anymore. The message has been heard, the deed has been done. Nico
are you
Harrison.
healing? Are you healing now?
Listen, it's not my place to heal. This has been good for business for me, if you want to be real. But hey, let's just call it like it is. Since they went to the finals with Luka Doncic leading the league in scoring, averaging damn near triple double, leading that postseason in every statistical category, it's been some of the worst general manager malpractice in the history of sports. It cost Nico Harrison his job. We don't need to kick the corpse anymore, I don't think. I'd rather spin it forward and discuss, how do the Mavericks start to dig their way out of the rubble of the mess that was left behind? And tell you what, Mike, you start with the gift from, I'm going to say the basketball god. Some people want to have conspiracy theories, whatever you want to say. The gift that is the presence of an 18-year-old prodigy on your roster and the opportunity to build around Cooper Flagg. Hey, you're seeing that unfold with another prodigy in San Antonio. The Mavs have got to pivot to the Cooper Flagg era, and they've got to get that right and build something sustainable. That's something they can sell as they try to mend their relationship with the fans.
It's a slippery slope though, because if you want to build around Cooper, you know what you got to do. And say you trade those guys or one of those guys, and
Mhm.
the fans turn on you again. I don't know, man. That's
Well,
that's a
listen,
tough one.
here it is. Okay. And again, let's look at the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama, unprecedented type of talent, right? Insane talent. They stink his first year. He was frustrated with it, right?
For sure.
It was a tough rookie year. But what was the reward from that really tough rookie year for Victor Wembanyama?
Steph
Stephon
Castle.
Castle. I
Yep.
mean,
Steph
and
Castle.
so this co-star who is on the same timeline, who fits with him really well, another just, I mean, back-to-back rookie of the years. But the point is, they got that other elite young talent to pair with him. Now, we're going to pause it there because the Mavericks have one chance at that, and that is in this draft. They're not going to get a Dylan Harper after the second year because guess what? Well, I'll just lay it out. In successfully building a contender around Luka, they gave up control of their first round picks in 27, 28, 29, and 30. Now, 27's top two protected. My point is you got 1 year to know that you can benefit from being bad. And Mike, I don't think they have to like intentionally be bad. They're pretty bad right now. I don't know if you like have checked the standings lately. They're bad.
Yeah,
They're
I've caught
bad.
a game or two. I've caught a game or two.
And
But oh boy, I know that game against the Bucks. I thought they had it. I'm texting you like just because Cooper went it, Giannis there at the end. I thought they had it, but the fans didn't help. And
hey,
I'm
again,
not. Yeah,
here's the deal. You've got the franchise has to get the fans back on board. And
right.
I will say this. The Jay Kidd said it was disrespectful to fire Nico Chance during free throws. The players certainly felt the same way. They felt like there was a home court disadvantage. The energy in the building for their game on Wednesday night against the Suns was completely different. There were chants in the fourth quarter. It was "Let's go Mavs." It was defense. It was not healthy for anybody for Nico Harrison to be the primary focal point for the fans, for the fury towards him to be, and it weighed on players. It was a terrible atmosphere for Cooper Flagg to get his career started. But again, fans got what they wanted. Patrick Dumont did what was absolutely, obviously, painfully necessary. Now they can, as you know, I'll just say what Cooper said. They were loud, they were positive. Now the Mavericks got to give them reasons to stay positive. Again, that doesn't necessarily. He wants to win now. Every player does.
For sure.
These are fans that they grew and witnessed the growing pains of Dirk and had a wonderful journey with him. They watched Luka grow up. They didn't get to complete the journey, but these people understand building around a mega talent like that. I do think they will buy into a long-term view with Cooper Flagg, but again, it's with the handcuffs of those picks in place, right? Of the picks that are out the door. So really the question here is Anthony Davis on the roster after the trade deadline? That's really because look, Kyrie, he's going to work on getting healthy, and then a decision will be made about whether he gets back on the floor this year or what that looks like. Anthony Davis is the one. That's the big question mark. Do they trade AD before the trade deadline? And let me just ask this, Mike. Should they, in your opinion, look at trading AD before the deadline?
I definitely think they should look at it, but everybody knows that's probably what they're about to do. So now, what is his value going to be out there? Who needs a big like Anthony Davis? I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer to these questions, but just to me, I hate to agree with Bontemps, but he
Oh,
was right.
God.
He was right, though. He was right. They should have tried to trade him last summer.
Well, sure, but you also it wasn't
Right. You
realistic.
can't do it.
Nico Harrison was not
Right.
going to trade the guy that he brought in the most controversial trade ever made. Like Nico, Nico's probably still saying, "Oh, we just never got healthy. I had a championship team." Okay, whatever. That's gone. Nico's gone. You've got I mean, Dumont, without saying it out loud or even writing in his letter, knows, dude, they really bleeped this thing up. They committed a colossal mistake. And he also knows, like, dude, they've got a second chance. Through nothing but blind luck, they got a second chance with Cooper Flagg. So I don't know what AD's trade value is. The Mavericks right now, they don't know. It is the job of their co-GMs on an interim basis, Matt Riccardi and Michael Finley, to figure that out over the next few months before the trade deadline. Yeah, and there will be I don't know if the Mavericks will have a permanent successor in place before the deadline, but it's the job of the franchise, the front office, to figure all that out. Very notable. AD's hurt right now.
Yeah.
He thinks he's healthy. His personal medical staff, which is on the Mavericks payroll, by the way, something that was never done with Luka's medical staff, they have cleared him. Johan Billsborough, the Mavs director of health and performance, has thrown up the caution flag. Said, "Oh, wait. This is a calf strain. Like, we don't need to say out loud the risk you're taking if you're rushing back from a calf strain." And Patrick Dumont, weighing in on these sort of things for the first time in the meeting, said, "Hey, I'm siding with Johan. I'm erring on the side of caution until I see," and I'm speaking to Dumont here, until Patrick Dumont sees clear, convincing medical data indicating there's no risk of aggravating a calf strain or potential catastrophic injury related to it, he's not giving AD the green light. That's protecting the investment, right? That's
Yeah.
making sure that you don't have a nine-figure albatross on your payroll that doesn't have any trade value because I think they've got to explore the trade market for AD. I think they've got to hopefully recoup some picks, maybe get a player who's more on Cooper's timeline. And if you're really bad this year, frankly, that's not the worst thing in the world long term. It's painful. Cooper ain't gonna like it, but as we're seeing with Stephon Castle alongside Victor Wembanyama, long term, it ain't a bad deal.
Well, look, Nico's gone. Luka, he's gone.
Gone.
Okay, before they made that trade, you thought the Mavericks had some pretty promising bigs with Derek Lively, Gafford, all those guys. You thought they were okay there. And so to me, I thought it was a little redundant to bring in AD, but obviously the
Mhm.
talent that he is, that's going to help you. You know that. But to me, like I said, it's almost like you reset it all. It's all
Yeah.
reset now. So I think it behooves them to go find out what AD's market is.
Yeah,
Now,
for
like I
sure.
said, I don't know what it is though, but we'll see. But like I said, you know how it is around this league. Like once teams start to realize, okay, they got to move this guy, that value starts dropping fast.
Well, not necessarily. That's if you're panicked, right? That's if you make
Is
a
that not what this is?
no, because a panic move would say, we got to trade him right now. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. He's gone by Thanksgiving.
Okay.
The trade deadline ain't on Thanksgiving. Make sure he's completely healthy before he gets back on the floor. And look, it just takes two. Just if you can get two teams interested, and that's the job of whoever's in that GM chair is to make
Yeah.
sure that you are getting value. And look, you don't if it's terrible value, you don't have to make a trade. You can explore it again over the summer. But the simple fact is, every move made from this point forward has to be through the prism of what is best to build a sustainable contender around Cooper Flagg. Anthony Davis can't be the priority. Kyrie Irving can't be the priority. The guy, they're in their 30s. They're closer to the end than the beginning. Cooper Flagg's 18. If you get it
Right.
right, you've got him for 2 decades. If you get it wrong, 7 years from now, you might be looking at making another trade of a star and not one that you decide you want to make, if you know what I mean. And that's premature, but that's just the way that the league works, right? Give this kid, he's such a competitor. Dude, he's a talent. Like the
No
fact that
doubt.
Mike, he had a 26-point performance where he filled out the box score in a
That was the sad part.
clutch
That was the
moment,
sad
final
part.
minute of the game. Beautiful spin move, just goes right at Giannis. He wanted to dunk it, then realized, whew, that's a tough task. But great
Right.
finish over him. I mean, that like, whoa, an 18, like the only other guy that young to score that many points in an NBA game ever is LeBron James. Like this kid is, I don't know how good he's going to be, but he's going to be a guy you can build around.
Two-way guy, too. That's what I love about him.
Yes.
He's a
You've
two-way
got
guy.
to get it right. You've got to get it right, and you've got to make that the priority. And I do think you can sell that to fans. I think Mavericks fans here, having been through it with Dirk, having been through, the first, what they thought was going to be the first third of the journey with Luca, they understand about building around this kind of young talent and benefiting long term. Last thing on the Mavericks, and I do just want to point out real quick the irony in Dumont demanding patience on AD returning from his calf strain, because one of the last straws that convinced Dumont, that Nico Harrison used to convince Dumont that dude, Luke is not on board here, like Luke is not committed here, was the fact that Luca refused to rush back from a calf strain last year. you know, but
Yeah.
and I point that out just because there's some sick humor, I guess, in the irony. Also, Dumont screwed up. He's learned. I'm not saying the guy's a basketball genius. I'm saying he has learned what he didn't know. He's learned how much he has to learn. And, this is an example of instead of just in Nico we trust and let's rush this guy back, understanding the big picture, understanding the importance of getting all the information, not just from one guy. Because if it was up to Nico Harrison, AD would have been back on Saturday. And if it was up to AD, it would have been as well. So, you know, I don't know how much benefit of the doubt Dumont's going to get from Mavericks fans, but I think he has learned through a very, very painful experience here.
He'll be fine. Jerry Jones just did something similar with Michael Parsons in the NFL, man.
I
They
mean,
still love Jerry.
well, no, the difference is Jerry's just got armadillo shell for skin.
This is true.
So, hey, let's talk about some teams that are winning some games. The Spurs, they did not win against the Warriors Wednesday night, but Area 51, by the way, great story by you on ESPN today about this tandem. And what a perfect nickname, Area 51. Number
Right.
five, Stephon Castle. Number one, Victor Wembanyama. 20-point triple doubles for both of them. Only the fifth time in NBA history teammates have done that. First time they've lost, but 8-3. That duo, holy moly! I mean, what a tandem to build around. But Mike, what I want to ask you about is De'Aaron Fox is back in the mix. First game back, it was clutch De'Aaron
It's
Fox.
okay. Yeah.
And so what do you think so far? Small sample size of kind of the fit there with that young duo.
Man, he brings an element of suddenness, of speed. You see all that, but you can also tell that he has not had any time on the floor with either of those guys.
Mhm.
You can tell that obviously when he got hurt, he had the hamstring injury, but he was just coming off the finger surgery that sort of took like a 12-week recovery time.
Mhm.
So you have those two things, and bam, you can't get on the court with those young guys, and you can see it. I think De'Aaron's timing is off. He's just not in sync with those guys right now. I think it's going to come, but it might not come until the middle of December or so. It might take a while with him. And Mitch Johnson even said it yesterday after the game. He said, "Hey, you can ramp a guy up all you want, and get him in great cardiovascular shape, but there's nothing that's going to simulate the intensity of an NBA game." And that's what De'Aaron is going through right now. We talked to him after the game last night. He also said that same thing. Hey, I'm just right now, everything's off right now. But he'll get it. It'll be fine. And then he'll just give them another weapon to attack with, because I've said this all along. When they start talking about, well, the Spurs, they have all these guards, it's kind of redundant. Yeah, you could say that, but all of those guys have different skill sets. They all bring a little something, something different to the table that the Spurs can take advantage of. So I think De'Aaron is going to be fine. It's just going to take some time.
So pretty fascinating what Stephon Castle's production has been in the field
Yeah.
since De'Aaron Fox has been back. And I'm just gonna rattle the numbers off. 19.3 points per game, um, 11.3 assists, and the turnovers are down to 1.7. Again, we're talking about a three-game sample size,
Right.
but it's certainly an indication that Stephon Castle ain't fading in the background just because a guy who's been an all-star point guard is sharing the backcourt with him. What are people there telling you about kind of how they see Castle's role and how they see Castle fitting alongside Fox, once Fox really gets rolling?
What they love about Steph is you can put him in pretty much any situation and he's going to find a way to thrive. On the other podcast that you do when you're cheating on me,
You're my
Brian.
side piece, just to be clear.
Well, Brian likes to have story time, so I gotta tell you a story about the time I cussed at Steph Castle's mom.
Oh no! Whoa! Hold on! Wait a second. First of all, hey, please use bleeps. We're not trying to get fired over
No,
this.
no, no, yeah. I'll do it right. This was just a couple of weeks ago. I was in New Orleans, and I guess I got to preface the story with I was with this agent guy. He's an NFL agent, but I played against him in college, so we're tight. Played with his younger brother. We were teammates.
Did he run over
Anyway,
you? You were a linebacker, but you
he
weren't
was,
a
and
throwback.
he was a fullback.
Oh, he ran you over. Okay, go
No,
on.
no, no, that never happened. Never happened. We got film of that. But anyway, so
It's
I
black
was
and white.
distracted. Probably on VHS for sure. But I was distracted talking to him. And Stephon Castle's mom and dad, they're boarding the flight and they're sitting in the next aisle over. And the agent guy is like, "Hey, isn't that Steph Castle's parents? You should go introduce yourself." I was like, "Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea," because they were right in the next aisle.
Mhm.
And so I go over there And I, introduced myself, and I said, man, Miss Castle, your son is a bad motor scooter. But I did not say motor scooter. I said what Samuel L. Jackson would say. And, by the way, Samuel L. Jackson is a big Spurs fan. But I said what he would say. And it was like I was trying to catch the words as they came out my mouth because I was like, oh. So I feel my forehead is like kind of beating up with sweat. And I'm like, apologize. I am so sorry because, I'm a Texas kid. Texas boys don't cuss in front of ladies. So anyway, a couple days later, I see Steph in the locker room, and I'm like, Steph, I am so sorry. Please tell your mom I'm sorry. And Steph is like, what did you do? And I told him what happened. He was like, man, you good. He said, my mama from New York. She probably cussed more than you.
Well, listen, you weren't wrong. It was an accurate evaluation.
It was. I should not have said it that way, though. I should have said motor scooter. So
you should have said your son is an outstanding basketball player.
Exactly.
Which, hey, he is. You weren't wrong. And again, I mean, the future in saying like it feels like I don't want to say they're ahead of schedule, but this was the year for them to make a leap to become a playoff team. And it feels like, they're making a bigger leap than that. And again, back-to-back rookies of the year, pretty good way to build. Everybody knew Wemby was a generational talent, maybe forget like an unprecedented type of talent. Castle is showing that he's got a chance to be an absolute star alongside Wemby. And again, the combination of those guys on the defensive end, like forget about offense.
Devastating.
Oh my heavens.
Devastating. And you know what? Steph is getting better. Like if you are really paying attention to Spurs games, you're starting to see Steph like he can kind of figure out ways to get Vic the room he needs, the spacing and stuff to play make. And so, I mean, I got to say this. I would say within the organization, the Spurs organization, they have buy-in on every level. And I'm talking like, I'm back in the summer, there were people telling me, I think we got a chance. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I kind of believe you from what I see on the floor, but it was kind of like, everything has to be perfect. But so if you got that buy-in on all those levels, those players are buying in. And also, like, those guys are tired of losing. Just straight up. Straight up, they are sick of it. I mean, Keldon Johnson has been a Spur for 7 years now. He's tired of it. And I don't know if you've looked at his numbers, but that dude is killing it as an offensive rebounder, man.
Well, he's a very, very nice piece off the bench for sure. And
absolutely,
they have some legitimate depth on that roster. We obviously spend majority of the time talking about the stars, but dude, like that, Cornette was a very nice signing for them. Keldon Johnson, Dylan Harper really hit the ground running. He's got a chance to be a Manu type of six man, like pretty much right away. Obviously, he's out for a little while now, but hey, like Champagne's now coming off the bench. Like they've got a really nice, deep roster.
They do. They absolutely do. And it's versatile and they can do different things just based off, sort of the looks they're getting. I thought last night against the Warriors, they sort of made a mistake with that double big lineup because you're playing against a veteran Warriors team that, they'll small ball you to death. And and that's sort of what happened. It turned into a half court game and, it just was not the type of game that the Spurs really excel at. Like they got to get up and down to win games, score in transition, stuff like that. The Warriors turned into a half court game and it was curtains for them.
Well, and Steph, the one Steph guy,
46.
The original Steph, not Stephon. Steph Curry did Steph things. Like, come on, like
he had 46. But I was shocked that his 3-point numbers weren't crazy. It wasn't the 3-pointers. I mean, he got buckets, all types of ways. So
and to the line.
Yeah, shout out to him. But that was what happened. But like I was saying though, they have the versatility. They could have gone small ball with the Warriors and would have probably been better off than going double big. So I don't know. Like they like I said, they have different ways to play people. I mean, you saw that Rockets game, I think that was Friday.
Yeah.
Ime after the game was like, they punked us. And you would never think that the Spurs and punking somebody would sort of be in that same conversation, but that's what it was, man. It was a hard fought game. And so like you saw the Spurs play that type of game. You saw
Mhm.
the Spurs on Monday come back from 13 down against Chicago, gave them their first home loss, and they went double big in that game, and they killed the Bulls with that. So they've got different ways to play, and that's sort of fun to watch with the Spurs because you just kind of never know. And I also think that Mitch Johnson, in some ways, he's figuring it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this
With
part
the
of the
help of
season is
Sean
for,
Sweeney, like we talk about
for
all season
sure.
positions, Sean Sweeney coming from the Maverick staff as the Spurs associate head coach. That was also like people don't pay that much attention to assistant coach hirings, but around the league they do.
That defense that you see Sweeney all over that. The
Yeah.
defense.
And Mike, you mentioned the loss to the Rockets. And look, Rockets fans, I promise we're going to be digging deep into the Rockets. There's just a lot going on in the other spots in the league. But I do want to hit on the Rockets before we wrap up. That was the Spurs one. I'm sorry, that was the Rockets one loss this
Yeah.
month. And it was classic Ime. Yeah, Ime comes down hard. Like they've been, what did that ended a 5 game winning streak in Ime's, iron fist Ime, which is classic. But man,
It's that look. It's that
we
look he
talked,
gives you.
yeah, and the tone,
Yeah. Real low.
and mean. But we've talked a lot about Albie Shingun, dude. It's ascending superstar playing at an all NBA level. Amin Thompson, man, like that young duo for them to build around. KD being giving them the chance to contend right now. Reed Sheppard, though, Mike, obviously they picked him third overall a couple drafts ago. They think he's got some star potential. Didn't play a whole lot as a rookie. There were some injuries, but just wasn't in the rotation. Got off to a bit of a slow start this season. Let me just read you Reed Shepherd's numbers in the month of November. Okay. This guy is averaging 13.7 points in about 22 minutes off the bench. His shooting splits 61% from the floor, 59% from 3-point range on almost 6 attempts per game. Um, you
Amazing.
know, and averaging a few assists per game. He's that microwave type dude off the bench right now that they need him to be. And he is his plus minus. I'm just going to read you his plus minuses this month: plus 19, plus 5, 1 minus 3, plus 8, plus 3, plus 13. So you're not bleeding points defensively with Reed Sheppard on the floor right now. And are they doing things to protect him? Yeah.
For sure. They have
Playing a
to.
lot of zone and all that. But guess what? If he's going to be lighting it up offensively, you will do what you got to do to make it work on the other end of the floor for him.
Man, I like when you watch that kid shoot the three ball and that ball goes through the net. It's like it hits the bottom of it. Like that net barely moves. I'm
The
like
way that
it's
thing's spinning, it's art, man.
yeah, that touch he's got, it's amazing. But you know what? He's supposedly a liability on defense, but I will tell you, in that Spurs game, in the first half of that game, I was like, I'm watching Reed Sheppard push Victor Wembanyama around.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa, what's going on here? And then Vic kind of turned it on in the second half and took over. But no, like the effort is there. The desire to play good defense is there because he knows I can't play. I won't get minutes if I don't play defense on the Ime Udoka team. And so he's making the effort. And then what he gives you offensively, man, like, okay, in the 3 games going into that Spurs game, I believe Alpi and Amin Thompson were averaging somewhere around 45 combined points.
Mhm.
He gives you another 15, 16 points off the bench. Okay, you're cooking with grease there because, like I was saying before, some nights Kevin Durant can have an off night
Yeah.
when you've got that kind of production, from the supporting cast. And so Reed is a big part of that. And I only see him getting better and better. I've talked to some of the Rockets coaches that, work with him every day. And, they've told me that, no, the desire is there. He's really kind of bought in on the defensive end, but it's just learning the game and, getting a better feel for everything, sort of as he gains more experience. Those are going to be key things for him, and he's going to be good, I think.
And again, there will be times where he's just physically overwhelmed defensively.
Yeah,
That's why you've got to protect him. But 14 steals in the last 4 games. He does have some playmaking ability on that end. And again, look, man, there's a long list of players in the league who've had to be protected on the defensive end, whose production offensively more than justified it. And he's got a chance to be one of those dudes for sure. And again, it's a fun time in the state of Texas. Maybe not so
not
much
in Dallas.
maybe not
Not
so
in
much,
Dallas.
but in the sense of there's so many young stars in this state right now. So many
Absolutely.
either established young stars or guys who have a chance to grow into stars. And I'm just saying, Reed Sheppard is included on that list.
Absolutely. And there are a couple others that aren't there yet, but they will be, like a Dylan Harper. He's going to be there. So yeah, it's fun to watch. And honestly, it's sort of fun to watch what's happening in Dallas too. Just because everybody likes to see a train wreck. I mean, I'm sorry, like it's just you like the drama of it a little bit.
People
And
like seeing train wreck. I feel like I'm in the caboose of this. I just don't.
you the engineer,
I mean,
the conductor.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, the engineer's unemployed now. Okay. All right, let's wrap it up there. We will do this every week, every Thursday. Always a pleasure, Mike. You've got the Warriors tomorrow. I've got more Mavs home games, and we're both going to find a way to see the Rockets soon. Appreciate you folks joining us, and adios, amigos.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm James Harden where I pull up long range. No, Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA on the ESPN tour.